Welcome to Astrology and Crime. I'm Astrologer Val Evans. In this episode, I'll be reviewing the case of Brianna Aguilera, a Texas A&M University of Austin student from Laredo, Texas, who was found dead outside an apartment complex. It's December 2nd now. This just happened last weekend, and so far the police have offered no explanation. We will look at the crime chart and Brianna's predictive soul return chart for 2025 to find out who could have possibly killed her if this was a murder. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me again today. It's been a terrible weekend for this family, and my heart goes out to them. We have a subject matter expert here. Deb, you have been in that area. You were a Lyft or are a Lyft driver, and you dropped off people in this area. The building has Valley and security. They knew what was going on, and that's what I'm getting to. We're seeing that there has been some recording of what happened that night. There should be some answers for this family. And if you have any inside information or insight, of course, call the police, reach out any way you can. But we're also interested in finding out information like the time of birth for the victim. So if anybody knows that, let me know. Now, I got a couple of cards for her. I got the Five of Swords, and I also got the Ace of Pentacles, representing money. Five of Swords, this is a real headache, maybe something that has to do with the head, maybe a head injury. But interesting, Ace of Pentacles is coming out. So maybe somehow something financial is in the mix. But what my charts are saying is that there could be a couple of people involved here, at least one who knows about what happened. Now, the police are going to have to move pretty fast. We're talking about college kids. We have a lot of people drinking. They're going to forget what happened. So there needs to be round the clock interviews this week with was ever at the party, whoever was communicating with these people who were at this party. Apparently, it was a party that she attended. She may have fallen or was pushed off a balcony, but that's just sort of speculation at the moment. But she was found outside of her apartment or an apartment, and I believe there was a party that was going on. Now, this is going to really play out in the news over the next year at least, I think, because this is going to be a real mystery and people are going to be trying to deceive. They do not want to be attached to this potential crime. We're going to start off with just a quick reminder of what the chart is going to show us. First house is the victim and the first house lord. Seventh house represents the crime profile and the perp profile. It's interesting. We're going to be seeing a lot of third and ninth. Third house is local things. It shows something that is outside. It could show the area outside of a home. And the ninth house, of course, represents the university or a university or college. It also represents the perp's mindset. The third house represents the victim's mindset. What was going on? Who was thinking and saying what? Of course, you're going to be able to get some information on the fourth house because that's who is in a home. And the fifth house is Leo as well, is very important here because we're talking about a tailgating party. So this has to do with partying. So we're going to see some Leo here. We're going to be really interested in seeing what comes up with regard to the victim for the horoscope basically of the crime, and we'll be able to get some leads from this, I believe. Deb, you said UT students are very protected, especially in these types of incidents. It could show unaliving. It could. I am not getting that, though. I am getting somebody pretty nefarious in this situation. What do we have here? We've got the crime chart for 1235. Now, this is when she was found, and she was, I believe, pronounced dead at around this time frame, which was 12:35 a.m. We've got Virgo here on the rising sign. So that's going to make the victim Mercury. There's Mercury down there. Now, you guys are going to tell me, you know this as well as I do. What do you see down here? Third house. We have the victim, Mercury, in Scorpio. So probably wearing something very scorpionic, appropriate for a party. What do we have down here? What do you think that is? I would like you to tell me. Definitely got a group here. And the third house is an apartment, it's a rental. It is also outside of a home, so you could also see it that way as well. Now over here, we've got the perp, and the perp is Neptune right now, at this point, retrograde. This can represent somebody who has alcohol or drugs in their system. We also have Saturn and Moon right here, which is kind of makes it pretty easy. Usually represents somebody who is dark skinned or has a dark complexion, black hair, possibly. There is a lot of people right here in the first house of the perp. This is a lot of alcohol, a lot of possible drugs. Thank you, Deb. It was her and another girl. We don't know, Natalie. We don't know at this point. It's December 2nd. We're not getting any information about who could potentially be involved with this. Yeah, Jen, I think there is definitely a jealous female involved here. Okay, I didn't know that. Deb, the mom said there was a fight. She saw daughter's text messages. Busy Scorpio, of course. Natalie, your read on the tarot cards, an offer and a potential rejection was the first thing that came to mind. Definitely shows that there is some kind of adverse reaction or relation here. Majestic Oracle, you think it's over a guy. Thank you for that. What happens here is we're looking at the perp, and when we see a trine, which is that blue line, and it goes towards the victim, it usually means the person knows the victim. The perp knows the victim, or the victim knows the perp, is familiar with that person, or familiar enough to get access to that person. Now, keep in mind that Pisces is drugs. There's a possibility that there could be some type of maybe a drug involved. It would make sense because Jupiter always represents a significant other. And there's Jupiter right there. Jupiter's a guy. This man is part of the mix here. I think this guy's going to become famous because Jupiter is in Cancer, which represents fame. Okay. It also represents a home. So we might be seeing something about his home. Now we've got this grand trine here. We've got this profile of Pisces. Could be a person who is African American. It looks like a lot of alcohol, at the very least, in the situation. The reason I put camera here is because we're going to look at Neptune to see if there are any photos. And there are obviously photos here. Ninth house is the college. It also represents the court. So possible that there are going to be photos that are going to be in court at some period. There's this lady here, this maybe the student, she has black hair. So let's get some information about this woman, this girl, who is Venus, Black Moon, Lilith. If you've never even heard of a crime chart, we look at the horoscope of the crime. And when we see Black Moon, Lilith in the middle of a stellium, it's usually something that is a big clue. And especially with Venus there, this is a female who is betrayed, jealous. This is pretty bad because of the opposition here, that red line. And it shows, I'm going to say that there's an opportunity for this girl to be arrested. So I think the police are going to go back on what they're saying, but let's get some information on this female who is not the victim. We're seeing a jealous female in this chart. We're seeing and sometimes your worst self can come out when you're under the influence. So sometimes that happens, but trying to get oh my God, trying to get some kind of profile here. And this just came out, Queen of Cups reversed. This is an angry female. Oh yeah, she's come undone. And isn't that weird? Looking at this card, it looks like she's pushing something. Could she be pushing the victim? Thanks, Shauna. Natalie, the most jealous queen in the deck. Oh my God, I didn't know that, Deb. They left her on the ground. They didn't call for help. Yeah, this is Black Moon Lilith energy, not really having any empathy. And yeah, Chiron in Aries again, which is a head wound. Okay, it was in local news. Natalie, Five of Swords can be a fight or also competition. So I could see them arguing over a guy. Yeah, it's a visceral feeling. You can see that from the chart. It is just wanting to murder over something. Natalie Betty's on the football team. Let's get a clarifier card for this woman, and then we'll ask about who this guy is. He looks like a dreamy guy because of that Pisces. They're idealizing him like crazy. Whenever you have all that Pisces and it's pointed to the symbol that represents a man in a chart, this is kind of seeing the person through rose-colored glasses. So it's that Pisces that really got to them. Pisces is really going to come up in this crime because we're going to see things that have to do with drugs, photos. We're going to see blurry photos. We're going to see maybe something that has to do with shoes and feet. And maybe we'll see a picture of a shoe. So that's the type of thing that we can see from this particular chart. Let's get a clarifier card for who this woman is. So we've got Queen of Cups. Another card for this girl, this pretty nasty girl. I got Five of Swords again. That's crazy that I got that when I opened the show. So the same one. Maybe I can't believe I did that. We've got a crime of passion here, I think. Right now they're saying it's suicide, but we know better. We see this chart. All they have to do is just give us a call and we'll tell you. We'll tell you. In fact, I think the mother has a good idea. Mom is going to be able to steer this in the right direction. Let's get a card on this man that is involved here. Give us a profile of what this man looks like. Queen of Wands reversed. Okay. Maybe somebody who doesn't want to fight, but this is maybe darker skinned. Page of Cups. So young guy. Maybe there could be two that know about it at least. He was or could become famous. A&M was undefeated going into that game against UT. They've got some high-profile athletes. There is, and I'm going to show you the future of this case in a bit. Yeah, did she have shoes? Did she have no shoes on? She was found by a passerby. Oh my God, that is just horrible. The Queen reverse is pretty controlling as well. Deb, you said the mom is very upset because she says daughter was not suicidal at all and police won't call it homicide. It's ridiculous. I mean, some of these police, and I don't like to speak against the police, but you don't send somebody so early in the case and tell mom when you don't have real supporting evidence that she committed suicide. Or I should say unalived herself. Yeah. Mom needs to get an independent autopsy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's 101 right there. Needs to get an independent analysis. Okay. So, will the perpetrator be caught? Let's get to it. Let's get to the real questions we want to know. Will the perpetrator be caught, be arrested? Yes. Wow. Two girls. And clarifier card on will there be an arrest? Judgment reversed. So what do you think, Natalie, on that one? Will this arrest come soon? Yes. Maybe yes. Could there be 9? Could there be 9 weeks? 9 weeks away? 9 months? I don't know. So it looks promising that there could be an arrest. All right. Yeah, the judgment reversed. I think maybe they're stuck. They can't go anywhere. They can't escape the perps. Someone will have to fight for it. So meaning for the arrest, maybe. The police here also haven't done anything about the numerous deaths in the lake near the bar area. Yes, everyone thinks it's a serial killer there. So I've drawn the Hierophant twice. Religious. Possible. And that Hierophant, something about those stairs too, makes me think of the Aquarius nature. So something from up high. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the chart that will give us clues on this case of Brianna Aguilera. And I couldn't help but notice that with this time frame now, I'm going to rewind this back a little bit to about 10 p.m. But take a look at this, the victim, and look at how the square to Mars. Um, this is an angry, very angry girl, very angry victim. She was she was incensed about something, and this person, this could have been a male at college. The 18 degrees is saying bad words, saying just being basically very angry about something. And I mean, it's bad. Now, Virgo there shows me that maybe there's some kind of clothing that got stuck somewhere. Could be in somebody's car, and it might have her DNA on it or something, but seems as if the clothing might come into play here. So we might see shoes, we might see some type of clothing that enters this case. Now, Uranus is really obviously way up high in the ninth house of the press. So, a it's a quote unquote unaliving here, and yet the victim is over here, not really exact with that opposition to the planet that represents unaliving. This is something else. This is somebody else here who is a very, very jealous female. And I almost think that this is a downfall of a female, probably the person who could have done this. Now, like I said, there is video. Let's see, is there video? Yeah, it looks like there's video of this girl. She probably has black hair, and it's probably going to be reported by the police or it's in the court. So there's an ease here where, and what's really interesting too, this might have to do with sending someone pictures, seeing someone else's picture or photo on someone's phone. So the argument could have started that way. So much Pisces, you're going to see some video and um, photos of other people. That's Scorpio, another person's photo, and somebody is very angry about that. So obviously, the phone from the victim is going to be crucial here, and it looks as if the victim was kind of the one who was she was she had the upper hand, I guess, because there's nice lines here. It's this person here who's super jealous and is going off the rails. Um, and also, you've got Saturn moon here, which is a death. Now, Neptune next to that is a mystery. So it's a mystery death. But I'll tell you, this guy up here, he knows a lot about what happened. So mm, this is maybe a person from the past, retrograde. So maybe a boyfriend from the past, or possibly because he's drunk, he's kind of weak, which would be retrograde. So there she is down there. And so we don't know who this person is. It seems like a dark hair, dark skin female. So we're going to rewind the crime chart to 10 p.m. And this is possibly where things are getting heated, people are responding. Does the chart show an arrest soon? Because I think it's going to take a bit as the police and school be very resistant to the attention. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. That's a really hard thing to ask. Can you see if it's accidental rather than homicide? I tend to think that it is homicide when you've got Black Moon Lilith in the mix, which we have. So there's a nefarious energy. There is a motive there, especially with Mars too. Mars can also be a motive. Let's see. All right. So let's look at 10 p.m. We've got a Leo rising sign. So this is sports. Okay. This makes sense. And it's also a party. Leo represents party. So we're going to see what is represented, and that is the sun. The sun is representing the whole chart. And we've got the nodes here. And this is an issue right here. The nodes means that something gets stuck. Um, there could be other themes around this party somehow. Um, this is also the perp. Okay, so the perp, who's the sun, 8 degrees, is jealous. This is a jealous perp and can't seem to, maybe just feels very stuck and angry about something. With Mars so close to the co ruler of the perp, which is the sun, this is an angry person. And not able to gain. North node is to gain. And so now that could be the perp, but it can also be the victim because it is the rising sign of this chart. So um, possibly they both feel kind of stuck. Now, what's weird is Mercury is in the mix here for the victim in the later chart, and that's a twin. So we might be seeing someone who looks very similar to her coming out in the news at some point. All right, so 10 p.m. We're going to look also at Uranus, and Uranus is way up at the top here. This is places up high. It is someone. It can be a breakup. It can be a breakup, and somebody is breaking up, and it looks like this female here. So there could be this big time relationship stuff. It would seem to me, and there's so much alcohol going on here. It does look like this girl is drunk, so it's most definitely involuntary. I think it happens pretty fast, and the 10th house. I think. Let's see where the Mercury is. The witnesses. Are the witnesses seeing anything? And the answer is yes. Witnesses see a lot. The witnesses have photos. They are in the home. And let me see here. Saturn moon. This is almost like pictures of a body. This could be photos of the victim on their phones. I'm gonna have to ask about that one. Let's get a profile. Are there witnesses to this crime? That's the first question I have. Yes, looks like a girl. Looks like a girl has photos. Um, Leo type, the sun there, could be blonde. Um, did these people? Did they take pictures of this crime taking place, or is there some kind of photo or video that captures some of what was happening? Whoa, yeah, looks like it. Something. Page of Pentacles. It's like this young person is showing something. It's like, here it is. Here it is. I have it. Somebody has something. I know this chart, Shauna. Two of Wands, two women fighting for one guy. Okay. All right. So the windows have no ledge or balcony. Hard to believe she would be anywhere near a window. Okay. So that's very important information. Thank you, Deb. Because in my mind, I was thinking she was on a balcony and somebody just pushed her or something. So it would be hard to, and that's Pisces is the window. Okay. So since we know it's a window, let's go back here. Where's the window? This is the window here. The Pisces. Um, And Uranus would be, it could be a broken window, it could be an open. I don't think it would have been open. It was cold this past weekend. I mean, this is a real law and order type of situation. Can you imagine the police coming in here and taking a look at this party? There's a ton of crap probably around this place, a lot of evidence, and then you've got this window. Um, let's see. How about how about DNA? Got Uranus here. We got DNA on the window, guys. Whoa. Let's talk about this DNA on the window. This is, we might see something that has to do with food, maybe fingerprints on the food or something that they're looking at. But this is fingerprints on the window, and they can lift these prints. It looks like this is fingerprints from this girl. Mhm. Okay, so let's get some clues about fingerprints on the window. I don't know what kind of tarot card is going to tell me information about this. This is a new one. I need some true crime cards. I think BD Salerno's working on some for me. They look pretty amazing, so I'm looking forward to using them. Now, tell us about these fingerprints on the window. Four of Wands reversed. So, okay, so it's a party that stopped maybe. And this is the second time we're getting this. So these are two girls. So possibly fingerprints of two females that, the party went sideways. And one more clarifier card on this window where there's going to be some evidence on this window. Nine of Swords. Okay. So now there's a pillow there. It makes me think it would be, maybe by the sofa or by a bedroom. And obviously just kind of like, what have I done? What have I done? It's hard to believe that though, because of the Black Moon Lilith. I don't know. Sometimes that energy is very unempathetic, but yeah, Angel, not easy to break a window that high up in a hotel. Now, was it a hotel? Yeah, go through the glass. That would be difficult. Could have been open to let smoke out, and there were 15 people in the apartment. I do. I definitely do. Majestic Oracle. I need a true crime deck. Now, all right, so let's go to this. We've got a lot to get through here, and I've got to do a reading. So I've got to move this along. Got a late reading tonight. Now, I've got this chart. This is the solar return chart for next year. So forward all of this 1 year. And this is the chart we get from the crime chart. It's just like a birthday in a sense. It's the first birthday of the crime. I like to look at the ninth house a lot because that's the court and it's also the press. Usually see a lot of activity in there if there's going to be some kind of murder case. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at Mercury. And Mercury is right here in Scorpio. This would be a criminal court because of Scorpio. It's criminal, but it looks like it is kind of stuck here. It doesn't look. It looks difficult to push forward for some reason. So it's possible maybe at least at this particular time frame, this is going to be November of next year, November 29th to December 29th. Things are going to be stuck when it comes to the court. And what we do, of course, with these charts is we turn it into a calendar. So this is going to be November of next year, December, January, and so forth. We're going to see a lot of stuff coming out with this case because I'm seeing some 8 degrees, some two planets and squaring others. So we're seeing a lot of drama here. But notice these are jocks up here. famous jocks. These are sports like heroes up here. And I wonder if we're going to see something like that in this case. Got a trine here. This is the victim, and we've got a lot of people who are well received here. You're going to be seeing them in the 11th house, which is social media. And with Chiron, it can show their tats, scars, basically, maybe even they're good looking because of Venus here. Venus is sextiling these people now. Also, keep in mind that Leo is law enforcement officers. Now we are seeing that this could be famous because Jupiter and the moon is very, very famous. And they're like the pride. And look at how it's right on Regulus. This is the pride of the school. And unfortunately, the court and also witnesses, Mercury is witnesses, they are in conflict with all of this. I wonder if this is kind of like an Idaho type of situation where the the school administrators are involved in the back rooms here and trying to figure out how they're going to deal with this, because this looks pretty scandalous to me. Um, Now, of course, that's not what matters. What matters is finding out and getting justice for this victim. And let me see here. So, we're going to see a little bit more about the victim, beautiful victim. We're going to see a lot about her because of Libra. This is a beautiful girl, and also a sextile to the North Node in the fourth house. So, this is a shock that happened. Of course, Aquarius also represents unaliving, and that's going to be the narrative of this group right here. You can see a box, and that's what they're going to stick to. Um, but there's a block here. There's a block, and Uranus here. This is an upset. This is an upset. Something that these jocks are not expecting. This is right here, and that could be DNA. We're going to see more hair and DNA here. Are we going to see? We might see some kind of hair on her, but this has something to do with hair when you have that much Leo. Let's ask about the hair. We're talking about DNA. We're talking about evidence. We're talking about the discussion among the public and the courts and all the players here, literally from November 2026 to November 2027. What are we seeing as far as DNA? Is DNA going to help this case? Six of Pentacles. Answer is yes. Might be costly. Something might be costly. Maybe it's an independent DNA analysis, which is important. There's a GoFundMe now that's starting. Let me ask about the hair. Is there anything that we can get from this Leo clue? Is there something about hair that we're going to be seeing in the news? Four of Pentacles reversed. So much about money. So there could be something that, I was asking, look at how her hair is kind of disguised there by that scarf, but it's reversed. Maybe somebody is holding something back. So yeah, maybe a blonde hair. Sometimes Leo is blonde. Yeah, that separate autopsy. Shauna, it could be public actually, but more than likely in membership. In the vault. Yeah. Yes, we did. In fact, we predicted Leon Payne's passing. It was me and excuse me, me and Amber. And we were talking about possibly death of a celebrity the next week, and we got a really good profile of Liam Payne, and that was pretty crazy. I'm glad you reminded me of that. Um, the student housing at UT is very upscale, nicer than most apartments. They have gyms, lounges, etc. So, what do you think that means? Four of Pentacles and the DNA. Maybe somebody not having enough money to get that DNA. Maybe it's stalled or something. Yeah. Okay. Interesting about Six of Pentacles. Um, that's right. You've got such a great memory. Yeah, and Amber got arrows in one direction, and Liam has arrow tattoo. I think that is actually in the shorts. You can find it in the shorts. I'll have to dig it up. I know Liam. Yeah, we did a whole thing about Liam. Now, but back to this, we are going back to the chart. And yeah, this looks like it could be, so this would be November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. It looks like the summertime. Somebody's really shocked here. Um, it seems like maybe the fall of an athlete. Are we looking at the? I don't know if it's weird because I don't get an athlete for the profile of this guy. Um, but he could be an athlete. Yeah, he could be. There's some competition there. Are we going to be seeing? Wow. Oh, I got two. Are we going to be seeing an athlete come out of this? We've got Five of Pentacles and Five of Cups reversed. So, yeah, we've got two women maybe pining over this guy. Seems it just seems like all for nothing, And what a big waste of an just a very smart, talented girl. I always see that Four of Pentacles in that deck is secrets, holding on to the secrets. Yeah. Yeah, we got the band name too, One Direction, exactly. Hi, Genesis I. It was stated that a girl who lived in the apartment moved out quickly that night or the next day. Well, that says a lot, doesn't it? That says a lot. Okay, now, all right, so that's the crime chart solar return. We've got some big, big upsets. This is very famous. Jupiter and the moon is very famous. South node is despair and anger and sports. Mars is very fast, very. It's going to become very, very famous. And with the South Node not able to let go of something, so that could be not being able to let go of this perhaps bruise on a reputation and just gets pulled into this. It's possible there are famous athletes that are somehow associated, but maybe just because they attend the college. Right, this is Brianna's birth chart. And so I rectified her chart as 2:09 p.m. I'm not sure if that's the right time, but look at how much Aquarius is in her chart. I put that in the ninth house of college. So that's how I got that time frame. Mercury being the ruler of the chart. And so there is an opposition here. And we've got Saturn, which is death. And we also have Scorpio here, which is being jealous, being betrayed. And ninth house is college. So there's a big, big shock at college. So you can see that. And then also Uranus it represents unalivings. And you could see that here it's weird how if I got this right, and she is a Gemini rising. Now, usually people who are petite are Gemini rising. They're very chatty. They're the socialites of the group. But with the square to Uranus, this is being interrupted. The chart is interrupted. There's a shock that happens. And then this is part of the T square here. So, and Sagittarius is college. The moon in Sag is a famous college. who is her hidden enemy here would be Venus. So Venus is this girl in Capricorn. So maybe an older friend, an older person, maybe she's, a year older. Could also be with Capricorn, somebody who is retrograde. That would be somebody who's weak, somebody who wears black. We might see her wearing black because Capricorn is black. Capricorn, um, pretty negative person. And check this out. With that blue line, which is a sextile to Jupiter, Jupiter represents your mate. So this person, her hidden enemy, is attached and associated with her boyfriend. It seems like he's a Scorpio type. So she has Jupiter in Scorpio. Is the guy who's going to have scorpionic features, dark and brooding. And her hidden enemy really likes him. Um, so yeah, squaring to part of fortune here. This is an angry female. Yeah, yep. So this is her. Put this as a birth chart, but this is her solar return chart for this year. Okay. And so I got Sagittarius as her rising. So Sag represents a college. And look at all these people here. We've got in the third house of apartment. We've got Saturn and Venus, which is a possibly a black woman or dark skinned or dark complexion. This woman, and Neptune here is somebody who's deceptive, who lies. And we've got a T-square here, and this is in her predictive solar return chart. So you run your birth chart, and then you make sure that you get the right year. For her, I pulled her 2025 chart because she's born January 25th. And so there's this T-square here with third house. This is a lot of communication with a female, and it's very negative. Now, because of Pisces, this is appear and disappear. So there could be a lot that isn't seen, that all of these messages suddenly disappear, kind of like Snapchat or WhatsApp or something like that. These are photos. And Jupiter here is in a T square. So Jupiter is the significant other. He is retrograde, not thinking correctly, may be lying to both of them because of that Pisces there. This is a lot of deception, possibly by a male. And with the moon here, the moon is also part of the seventh house of mate, but there's the eighth house as well. So um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. This could just be moon sometimes is the home. It's like a college home, but third house definitely shows an apartment. And there's some other things that are going on here for her. I don't know if they apply to the party, but I see Mars at 22 degrees, squaring Black Moon Lilith. And we've got this here, which is Mercury, and it is a group. So there just seems to be a lot of jealousy, a lot of betrayal right here in this group that maybe she stumbled upon somehow. And because the victim is the rising sign, you can see how there's a T square that points to her. Square to Saturn shows a death. So, death, fear, and uh, I mean, the alcohol and drugs probably really um, were part of this equation, most definitely. Jupiter is college, so college apartment. Um, Now let's look and see. We're gonna have to look at the crime chart. Um, let's look and see what was on the perp's mind, and that's going to be the third house ruler. There's a couple of people who are pretty angry here. Mars is Mars is over here, 18 degrees. maybe can't make a decision. Trying to Yeah, this guy feels stuck and angry and fighting, and he's tired of fighting maybe, but there's nothing he can do about it. And so 3rd house for the victim is Libra, and that's a relationship. And Venus is down here with that Black Moon Lilith. This could mean Mercury represents friendships. So this is a female friend. So she's got her friend on her mind. Her friend did something shocking. You can see that. No, I don't know if it's her friend, but this woman did something shocking. And that's part of this chart here. Oh, yeah. They need to get those phones fast, Angel. Now, Debbie said, it looks like some apartments may have small balcony type area. Okay. Maybe it's another cheerleader, possibly. Yeah, that Leo, that's a lot of hair, a lot of blonde hair. So many fives, Jen. Yeah. So, okay. And so let's just ask, let me ask about this female. What did she do that was so shocking? This is like, obviously we know what she did that was shocking, but there's something beforehand that was just pretty. It was a bold move that she made. And this really set the tone, I think. What was this bold move by this female? This jealous female? King of Pentacles. There's a lot of Leo. So we're going to be seeing some Leo names. S-O-N, Carson. We'll be seeing, words like win and sun. Sun, S-O-N, is a Leo word. We'll be seeing maybe words like King Street and Prince Street and something like that, maybe. King of Pentacles, so this has to do with wealth. Maybe is this girl, did she see dollar signs? The answer is yes. She was going to get her freedom through, maybe it's the big quarterback. What's the quarterback look like? Now we're getting into some serious investigation here. Okay. I wanted to show you too what this beautiful girl. Let me show you. There she is. It's a beautiful page they put up for her. Brianna Marie Aguilera. And just scroll down. College Station, Texas. Her parents, Stephanie and Manuel. Her brothers, Armani and Giovanni. And her extended family are all listed. Hillside Funerals. So this Leo, there's lots of Leo in this here. It's a beautiful page. Plant a tree, send flowers. So that's at hillsidefuneral.com. And then, of course, they also have a GoFundMe page. All right, so let me look at obviously, this is for entertainment purposes only, and we're just looking. But I'd like to see the Texas A&M, and maybe you guys can guide me here. Quarterback. Oh. Here we go. Marcel Reed. So he suffered what appeared to be an ankle injury during the game against Texas, but returned to the game. So nice looking man. Not saying it's him. Could be somebody who looks like him. But there's a profile here. This just happened. So he just sustained an apparent ankle injury. And how about that? We've got Aquarius, which represents the ankles. So maybe this is giving us should probably pull his soul return at some point. Not saying he has anything to do with this. He probably wasn't at that party. But it's interesting to know the main characters of this college. So, see if I can make this bigger. There we go. So, crazy. Yes, Angel, thank you. We're purely reading and interpreting our speculation of the astrological charts. Angry woman plus Leo. Oh, yeah. Seriously, if somebody's called Madison, yeah. Um, is he a Leo? This is a good question. It's a good question. Um, let me take a look here. See, how do I do this? I am going to see, when was Marcel Reed born? July 8th. So not a Leo. But maybe some of his friends were Leo. Doesn't mean he's not a Leo, though. Yeah. I know everybody's on their phone. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make things a little bit bigger for you guys to see. Okay. Now, back to this chart. So I covered the crime chart, the solar return chart. The most important is the crime chart, obviously, but we do like to see Brianna's soul return chart for this year and take a look at if I rectified this correctly. Um, in the 11th house is when she would pass, and this is in the Scorpio month. So Pluto is here in all of this Aquarius energy, and this is stellium here. Um, and these are really at least one very nasty person here with Black Moon Lilith. You can see there's some revenge here. Anger, revenge. And I gotta say, we did get a lot of financial types of cards, which would make sense that maybe there's some kind of, maybe somebody makes a lot of money. I don't know. But that would maybe fan the flame of why people were so mad. But, yeah, we've got some serious Aquarius energy that represents unalivings, but also big shocks and breakups. So I think we're talking about a breakup here. What do you guys think? Um, Are we talking about a breakup that is part of this motive in the Brianna Aguilera case? Five of Cups looks like yes. Angel, I was thinking that too. In Libra, beautiful. Witnesses saying they heard arguing and screaming in the apartment also because of railing. She couldn't have fallen. Okay. Yeah, these witnesses are so important, and you tend to get them on Facebook and Reddit. So it's a great place to look, and also the local news as well. Yeah, 5 again. Wow. Yeah, 5, that Leo number. So there is regret here, but it looks like somebody who's very sad over a breakup. And I think that that's going to be a major indicator, even though right now we're hearing suicide. Doesn't make sense, but these cards are telling us that this has to do with the relationship gone wrong. This has to do with betrayals, revenge, a female in the mix, possibly a very well known athlete in this community. And this is not going to be good for the school, I don't think. Are we looking at a, a case that could really be in the news quite a bit longer here? The sun reversed. So maybe not. Maybe not. and the Fool reversed. So, gosh, that looks like a female there. Um, 2 females. Will this case take off on social media in the next 6 months? 10 of Pentacles reversed. So, maybe we won't. Maybe it'll go away. Do you think someone could have been recording what happened? Snapchat. Yeah, I think so. I mean, this could be revenge porn too, because we're seeing Scorpio and Pisces there. So there could be something that really sets somebody um, off. Yeah, 5 by 5 all square revenge, maybe. It's possible. So, well, thank you so much for helping me tonight. We're going to think about these clues and come back next time we hear a development. And I will see you sometime this week. Thanks again, guys.